Hey, what up, everybody? I'm here with my buddy Goofy Rexy. Say what up, Goofy.
What up, y'all? What's going on?
We're doing a little collab right now where we're going to go through each other's rosters, talk about where we're at in the game, what we're working on, what we want our roster to be able to accomplish. And I'm sure I'm going to get properly roasted on this first one. And hopefully, we can be doing this once a patch. Look what's up. Goofy already playing games. He already playing games back there. So, here's my roster.
Yeah, so I mean, so a couple of things that we were talking about before we got on here, right? Just for transparency, we did have a little brief discussion. So I guess for me, I'm more interested in knowing sort of what you're doing for Scourge right now. So I can see you kind of got a lot of characters highlighted. Obviously, these are like the top ones these are the ones that you need for nodes 5 and nodes 10. So like, what's your approach to Scourge? Oh, you got a couple of G16s. Oh boy, Unstitcher.
Yeah.
Unstitcher, there's the G15 Yondu.
Yeah.
Super Endgame just looks very different to me. But so what's kind of your approach though for Scourge? And I mean, you obviously brought these characters up pretty high. But like, what's your intent? What you're thinking about?
Rank 1. So Zubin is a buddy of mine, and he's been rank 1 for both the Morgan Le Fay and the Rogue Scourge. And when I found out the teams well in advance, this is the first one they gave us like a lot of notice with. I was like, max these characters out, let's go. I gotta beat them for the first time. So it's a big competitive edge there. So I mean, I live for Scourge. It's a lot of fun for me. I like the affixes. Brings me back to World of Warcraft days. So my philosophy, max them out.
Max them out. Now, how do you think that Ravagers are going to sort of fare in this, right? We looked at some of these nodes, and I mean, a lot of us have made videos about this already. I mean, you're seeing this. There's that Omega Red that's in node 5. I mean, that's going to be really tough right there. And then you got Bionic Avengers with power. What is it? Bionic armor, essentially, that you have in node 10. Like, what do you think is going to be your approach there? It looks like node 10 is going to be the hardest one of all. But what's your plan to deal with that Omega Red and that Doctor Strange Heartless and that Wong in node 5?
So, yeah, the Omega Red is super stressful, right? Because he's really fast, and once he gets popping, like he uses a special, he gets speed up, and he's going to pop you really quickly with that ultimate right after that, giving you slows and just demolish you. So I think you need to do, you need to do one of two things. You either need to burn the node 2 times, pull in his abilities without hitting Doctor Strange's abilities. Then he's going to open up with ult on the 3rd attack. That's no good. Or you might need to go in with Ravagers. Because Star-Lord T'Challa beats out Omega Red at 125 speed to Omega Red's 120. Hit him with a blind. You might have to reset a bunch because he is going to spawn with defense up, the Omega Red. And then from there, you steal his energy. And then you got to kind of get control of that Wong. Hit him with a bunch of turn meter rewind from your Ravager Boomer and the summons from Yondu. And I think Ravagers have a place on both nodes to start it. So what's going to happen in my mind is I'm going to probably use like a whack Wave 1 Avengers, where it's probably not going to have Hulk, it's going to have Iron Man and like Captain America, and it's going to be a really bad team. But it's going to go in and it's going to burn one of the nodes, and then on the other node, I'm going to use Ravagers to start it. Ravagers, I imagine, are going to get really far into the node, but die off near the end, and then Hero as Guardian will be the cleanup for both nodes.
Okay, so essentially, you're hoping that you're saying you're kind of 2-sacking both times, right? So you're 2-sacking node 5, and you're 2-sacking node 10. Okay, I can understand that. Now you mentioned that you're going to use Iron Man potentially. Like, what are you going to use for nodes 3 and node 4? Because those are the Avengers section where you want to save some of your Wave 1, probably save your skill Secret Avengers. Like, what are you thinking about for nodes 3 and node 4 there?
So node 3, I think I'd beat it with Young Avengers, just straight Young Avengers. Node 4, I think I want to send in a team that's going to die halfway or 3/4 of the way through. Now, if Young Avengers can pull that off and die, great. If not, I need to find a different Avengers tag that can do that. Because what I want to do is get Thor in on node 4, make sure his ultimate is ready for the start of node 5 or node 10, so that when they go in, it's a big AoE stun. I'm probably going to have to reset it 100 times until he stuns the majority of the field, right?
Yeah, so you're hoping that ultimately, let's say you're stealing the strategy, you're stealing the ability energy, you're getting the blind on the Omega Red, You're trying to get the stun, and well, Psylocke is in that node too, right? So you want to make sure she doesn't clear the buffs.
Yeah.
So probably maybe target her, and then hope that you can land it on Wong and Strange Heartless. Like that's kind of like the goal, and bonus be an Omega Red.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's gonna depend how they position the node. If Psylocke is super far from Wong and Strange Heartless, I think you gotta let Psylocke hit you with her ultimate and give you all your debuffs, because you can't let that Wong taunt get his defense up and the safeguard, because then you're just stuck there.
You're stuck behind him.
And then it's not going to matter that you stole energy from Omega Red. You're going to be hitting that Wong until Omega Red's back up and running, and then it's just kind of like, well, you missed your chance. Whoops.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is gonna be a tough Scourge event, right? I think this is probably gonna be the toughest one that we faced so far. So it's gonna be kind of interesting to see, and we'll talk about what I'm gonna do on my channel as approaches the Scourge, because you're going for rank 1. My goals are very different than yours, but it's interesting strategy. Now, have you like maxed out all T4s on your Ravagers too already?
So I did one just recently on Bruiser. I just gave him the passive because it's 2 turns of defense up instead of 1. I did that one. Now I wish I had like more T4s to put on him, like this one where it also gives defense up, a little extra healing. That's good because it applies to the minions as well that Yondu summons. And then I have a lot actually on the hero as Guardians, and a lot more that I wish I could put on. Like I really wish I could do Mighty Thor special. It's pure damage. It's not great in any other mode, but I feel like in Scourge you're kind of trying to eke it out, right?
Yeah, you're trying to get the most. You're trying to squeeze all the juice out that you could possibly do.
Yeah, exactly. And like Heimdall Ultimate, like again, it's not good. It's not worth the T4s, but you know, if you're trying to push for rank 1, it's every little bit kind of helps. But as far as T4s go, I'm kind of set in what is essential for all 3 of the teams.
Okay. Yeah. Now, what's your Gamma team looking like right now? Like, what's
Oh, they beefy.
Where you got these guys? I want to see that.
They beefy. They beefcakes.
Oof! Wow! Wow!
They ready to go.
What I'm more impressed about is the fact that you're are you still good with gear for Red Hulk to get him to G16?
Yeah. Let me find a bio character. I should be set. Let's see this guy right here. Yeah, pretty set for at least bring one character to gear tier 16. I got the Gamma Radiation ready. It's incredibly sad in another sense.
Yeah, we won't talk about that part of it.
No, we leave that out. It's impressive. I like that.
We're gonna go with impressive, but I mean that's a pretty big Gamma team there. So I mean you're pretty set then if you want to go for nodes 1 and node 2, right? You probably don't really need to worry about too much then, because my strategy is going to be a little bit different because I don't have my Gamma team built up, and we'll talk about that later on my channel. But like you can just use this team for like your first 2 nodes essentially, which is maybe like Score Girl or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. I think what I'll do is I'm going to do a difficulty 8 run to kind of get a feel for it. That'll unlock Red Hulk. I'm going to build Red Hulk up because I think he'll be the best 5th, even at 3 yellow, 3 red. For a full push on nodes 1 and 2. But yeah, I think Web Warriors are going to struggle there. They're like the only other bio team besides like Hero Brawlers. But even then, I don't feel like those 2 teams are going to be able to hang at a very high difficulty with a lot of Scourges. I think it's going to be Gamma.
Yeah, for sure. Especially being that Gamma's Gamma's in the Avengers section. Never mind. But yeah, you're essentially there's a lot to worry about. There's like the Nikos and Spider Woman, so it's going to be pretty tough. All right, so shifting gears from Scourge, man. I mean, what's your? So we got this new Underworld team now that's coming into the fold. I mean, what are your thoughts, and what would you kind of recommend as it pertains to Underworld right now? Like, have you been testing them out in War? I'm assuming.
Yeah. So for a lot of the words, they kind of default to defense because they're like a top 3 defense team, which is kind of crazy. I was fighting against one last night, and I think I dropped 3 war tags to it, trying to cheap out because A-Force beats them, but I was trying to cheap out and not use Doom with that comp, and I just got wrecked 3 times, which really unfortunate. But yeah, I built them up. I'm testing them like crazy. I really like them in War. I think there might be something there for the Spider-Verse characters in Crucible, but other than that, man, if you're not super big and deep into War, they're a hard pass team. They just are.
Yeah, I was, and we talked about it before we even started. Like Underworld is just really expensive, right? I mean, they're like some of the characters are Like Green Goblin is like 90 pieces per like for his mini uniques.
Yeah.
Then there's like Kingpin is like the safest one because he's a skill character. Like we're not really heavily on skill right now, and maybe Taskmaster a little bit, but it's really tough. Now I think my favorite character on this Underworld team is probably Taskmaster. I really love his full like AOE blind on that ult. I mean the damage potential too is just so high.
Oh yeah, he smashes, and even without the full team, like he doesn't do. I believe he doesn't do the full thing. Oh no, it's even in War, it still does it to everybody.
Yeah,
it's incredible. And now that he has extra damage from the rework, like he slides into a lot of teams. Like there's a Wakandan Taskmaster defense that's super annoying. Black Order gets smashed by it. Yeah, it's crazy because Killmonger's giving him some speed bar and everything, right? Like Taskmaster is definitely an amazing plug and play character on War.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. And then Mr. Negative is going to be dope. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I'm sure Mr. Negative is going to be pretty good. I mean, I'm thinking probably using maybe Kingpin with Spider Weaver and then maybe like Symbiote Spider-Man, like some other characters that I think would be good in that room. So yeah, I mean, of course it's different. Probably not a team that you recommend for everybody to build, but interesting if you have some extra resources there. But Cosmic Crucible is probably the next area, right? Where it's not going on right now because it got canceled. But we know it's coming back. So
to be determined, it'll be back.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts? I don't want you to show your defenses because I know that I know you go against a lot of players here as it pertains to Cosmic Crucible. But like, what are your thoughts right now with Cosmic Crucible? And then we can kind of translate to and talk about like Hero Mutant and how that works even in some of your raid content right now too, because there was something that you were sharing that was pretty interesting in raids too.
Yeah, so Cosmic Crucible, I think this season's obviously be heavily predicated on that Rule of X or Age of X, whatever that thing is. That
Age of X,
okay. Boost up
whatever, call it,
yeah, exactly. You basically call it Stage 4 from last season, but on every single Hero Mutant in every room, right?
Which is insane.
I think it's going to be crazy. So, like, I brought up my Cyclops. I brought up my Storm because I think Uncanny is going to be just amazing with those buffs. That resistance, that focus check is going to be huge for them. Other characters that I really like are the Dad Bros coming in. So, I've actually leveled up my long shot. I'm working on Shatterstar now. Because I love Crucible, and I'm in a very heavy competitive side there. I think they're going to be super impactful. And then you gotta look at Gamma. Gamma's going to be huge this season as well. And then, leading into the raid thing you were talking about, part of it, I think we're getting another Hero Mutant team very, very soon with the Death Horsemen. So I think that's going to be another reason why they're trying to sell this to you, and probably why these rooms are buffed the way they are.
Yeah, definitely. We're kind of seeing the writing on the wall right now, and it's going to be tough, man. I mean, you're right. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of players who are building up, like Uncanny, like you are building up their long shot and Shatterstar again, because just being able to use them in a room or throw one character in a room just so that they can help declare revives. It's insane, sort of like what they're doing. I'm gonna ask you though, like, do you feel like this is a little too convoluted with all the buffs and all that stuff, or are you still like, this is fun? Where are you on with the Cosmic Crucible changes right now?
So I was thinking yesterday, and I was talking on my Twitch chat about the Web Weaver team or Spider Weaver team, whatever. What's their team? Tangled Web. Tangled
Web. Yes, I didn't know what it was either.
We were talking about them in the Stage 3 where they're going to start with Safeguard and Deflex, and Spider-Man 2099 starts with Speed Up, and his ultimate flips everything and gives Speed Meter to the other Tangled Web members. And it's just so crazy everything that they're going to do that it's hard to think of a team that's going to beat them, even with the Hero Mutants in mind. And then I look at the Legendary node, how you can't control Legendaries unless you hit them with a trauma before putting a stun or something on them. Otherwise, it drops off before they take their turn, which is insane. So it does feel like they're kind of going above and beyond what's super necessary. Like, last season with the skill adjacent give energy, it was like, okay, I can understand that, I can roll with that, that's cool, I can kind of make some new comps over that. Now it's just these characters OP is what it should say. So it's like a little bit worrisome in that regard. But yeah, with the global rule with the Age of X, giving it to all mutants in all rooms, it does feel like it's a little much.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I've been feeling too. I'm like, I don't know if this, like in the beginning, it's sort of like, okay, this could, we'll see what it looks like. It's a new thing, but then after a while, and that's kind of how I feel about Doom 3 raids, where I was like, this is a new thing. We'll try it. I'll get my characters ready to go, and then I'll do it. But then you start doing it every single day. You're like, this is not fun. This is like incredibly RNG. I don't like RNG in my game. I don't like RNG when I've put investment in, right? So that kind of segues, like your mutant section, not hero mutant, but your mutant section in Doom raids right now. Like, how are you approaching those? I know a lot of these characters you're using here too.
Yeah. So, Jesus. I don't know if you can hear the Warzone upstairs, but it's nap time. Kids aren't happy about that.
It's all good, man. All good.
So I go full Axeman on those 1 and 2. Before I brought Jubilee, Iceman, and Beast up levels and even up red stars. It was just like, you're just gonna get resisted. You're just gonna lose on 3.4. It was nuts. Yeah. I tried a bunch of different combinations and nothing was working. So once I brought them up, it was good. But can you really look at the MSF community and be like, bring your Axeman up to over 1 million and it'll be okay? It's not a realistic solution.
Right.
And then when you look at the boss node, there's a very particular burn team to use on the boss node that involves super old, outdated characters, like even older than Axeman, the Brotherhood team. And it's just... Yeah, exactly. It's so niche and so particular that it's not applicable to 99.9% of the community. So the mutant section to me is just like, it needs to get better. And that's why I really do think they're going to bring that Archangel team, being a Death Horseman for raids, before we know it.
Yeah, would you? So you would probably at this point say caution and not even build Axemen. Try to just get through it as best as you can with where your characters are now, and just wait maybe a month or two to see what they bring out, right? Because otherwise, you may end up wasting resources.
Yeah, I would say like if you want to level them up to 90, that's one thing. But putting teal gear on them, putting more T4s, putting gold promos on them, that's kind of insane at this point. And what I suggest most alliances do is when you do your push days for 100%, fine. But once you find that difficulty that is your sweet spot, settle for 60%. And when you do the mutant section, hit 1 lane. All 4 of you go through 1 lane together, tag team the boss. So make sure when you're hitting the boss node, you're not leaving up power couples, right? You know, you're going to do your burn attack to pull a bunch of ults. When Cersei drops in, kill Cersei. Don't let Cersei and Icarus be on the field at the same time. When Agatha drops in, kill Agatha. Don't let Agatha and Morgan be on the field at the same time. And it's like it takes a village to get through that node, which sucks. But if all 4 people are only doing 1 lane, it's going to really diminish how many cores you're having to bust. Because using cores on a daily thing like raids is trash.
Yeah, especially when you have event campaigns come in and you have other events like Bronze event where it really kind of exhausts the amount of resources that you have available.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so I think that's it. I think we covered most things here. I guess we should ask them if there's anything else that they want us to talk about in the future here. But I guess it's your channel. Like any last words that you want to share with everyone?
Yeah, it's important that if you're not spenders, and a lot of people aren't, and I support that, you pick one thing to focus on. If you want to focus on War Scourge, focus on War Scourge. Don't deviate and work on Crucible and work on raids and work on everything else at the same time. If you need to focus on your raids are the most important, then do that.
Yeah.
And then settle for what you can on the War Scourge. Don't try and overextend yourself, because then you're kind of half-assing everything, and nothing's going to work the way you want it to work at the speed you want it to work at.
Yeah, for sure.
Alright guys, so that's going to be it for this video. Make sure you head on over to Goofy's channel. Show him some love. We're going to go do this over there. And it's going to be a much, much different perspective. Probably a healthier perspective, if I'm being honest. But that's it. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and we'll check you guys later. Peace. Alright guys, well that is today's video. Again, stay happy, healthy, have fun. If you did like this video, like, share, and subscribe. And make sure you check on the comment section below. I'm going to include Goofy's link to his channel, the link to the video. Make sure you go check that out. Again, it's a much different perspective. I think you're really going to enjoy it. But I'll see you guys tonight for War Scourge. And that's it. I don't know. I'm bad at saying goodbye. So, bye.